Hello and welcome back to Space Engineers. In today's video, we're looking at another large block mining ship. This one is very unique and in dire need of repair, and it's called the Stone Crusher Rusty, which is this lovely thing that I'm currently standing on. So this is a primarily atmospheric ship, but does feature a couple of hydrogen thrusters to allow it to fly around through space. It's got a fairly large interior for you to walk around in, and it comes with, well, some very battered, unfinished rusty blocks for you to repair up. If you wanted to do that, perhaps you could make an entire scenario about this in survival mode, spawn this in, and try and get this operational in a spick-spam condition, or just leave it as such, because it does have a little story behind it. But anyway, if I was to move around towards the very back of this thing, past all these poor rusted blocks, and over to this part, this is our massive drill, which we can deploy from a little cockpit that sits right between this section right here, where these pistons can move all the way down, then these ones will push it even further down, so you get down to the nice resources below the surface. But that's only if you need it, and will be primarily for collecting up ice to restock your hydrogen thrusters. Anyway, come back around towards the very front, and do excuse the pistons because they are built into the system, and they do not have magnetic plates on the bottom of them, so if you see the ship start to wander off by itself, that'll be why. Anyway, back like this, pressing F10, finding it in spawn menu, the Stone Crusher Rusty is 1060 small blocks using pretty much all the DLC packs. It uses no mods, it uses no scripts. As you can see here, there is a rather odd story behind it where you may want to just look at the Steam Workshop page yourself and have a quick read, so it is quite odd. Anyway, we'll go give this thing a thumbs up, move around towards the very front, have a quick look around the outside, then we'll go around on foot, see what's going on with it. And there's quite a few places that we can go on foot, whether intentional or not, due to the way it's all been designed, due to the way blocks are missing or deformed. It does allow you to get up into little places, which could be quite handy if something important, such as one of those interior turrets spinning around on the top, ever took damage. Anyway, at the very front, this is what we get. There's a lovely glass windows where we can see our dual cockpits to drive this thing around. These cockpits cannot control the drill at the back, it's purely on that one cockpit that sits right next to the drills that have control over it. Right down here we then got a connector that sits on the hinge, so we can angle it depending on what we want to do. Then further down there and looking up, we can see one hell of a lot of atmospheric thrusters in the form of our traditional atmospheric thrusters and our fan atmospheric thrusters to move this thing around. As we move up slightly, here we go, and move around onto the side. There's an interior turret, one on both sides for a little bit of defense, and then the start of many rusted and broken blocks, as well as a bunch of exhaust blocks shooting out smoke, and well, a little bit of fire and sparks and all of that. So around over to here, we can see a gyroscope just hidden behind a little block. There's some steps to be able to get up and all the way around. Over in this section that we're now panning over to, this is one of two solar panels, where one of them is damaged and is currently sparking quite violently. But yes, we can use these to recharge our batteries if we ever start to run low on power. Moving across here, some more steps to be able to get up and into the ship from the ground, and we will have to use our jetpacks. There is no traditional way to get up in the form of ladders or anything like that. There's another gyroscope hidden behind another large atmospheric thruster. And over onto this station, which we'll get a closer look around on the foot, is a small little ball made out of some rusted blocks, where it has some shelves hidden right behind it. Anyway, over to this part, I'm putting it on my light without bringing the light back around because it does look quite bad like that. There we go, that'll have to do. We've got some more atmospheric thrusters and hydrogen thrusters to move us around. And here is our lovely drill that features 5 large drills with some beam blocks going all the way around it that come up to some rotors. We've got some welders right behind it to repair it all up if they ever took damage, while say being quite reckless while trying to drill with this thing. Then moving all the way up and looking at it like so, there's all of our pistons with some armored panels on the top, with a bunch of interior pillars connecting them all together, then passes onto the second piston, so here it is fully extended out, which is how it is when it's in standby. Come like that, connector on top, moving all the way down, there's your ore detector in a rather poorly condition. Then down into this part, here is your cockpit that faces straight down, so you can see exactly what's going on when we're drilling. Moving down slightly like this, there's your hydrogen thrusters and atmospheric thrusters on the opposite side, as well as some more interior turrets for any kind of pesky spiders or wolves that try to gnaw on your ship. Let me come on to this side, here we go. So there's our other solar panels, but instead of being both red, we then got a red and a blue. And all the way across. There we go. Now to move all the way up and look down this thing, so there's some smoke coming out of our main cockpit. And then there is our interior turret sitting on top. As we were to move across where I'm standing, this is a fairly clean area that's quite good condition, where we can see a parachute edge, so this thing does get into a bit of a pickle. You've always got that in an emergency. Then moving all the way along into the middle here, we then see another singular hydrogen thruster with a few more atmospheric thrusters in the form of large ones and a bunch of small ones, and a connector on top to dock this thing up. Moving a bit further on, there's another parachute hatch. There's our ore detector that we saw at the very back of the ship, as well as 2 more interior turrets, some pesky drones, and of course to disable any kind of wolves and spiders coming towards you. Then, moving all the way down underneath the thing, and this is what we can see. So we've got one hell of a lot of hydrogen thrusters. There's our small, there's our large. It looks very odd because we've got two standard large ones, one large fan, and a bunch of small ones duct taped together, with then some very neat hydrogen thrusters going along the middle, barring one, which is currently on fire. Come up to there, there's another connector with a sorter attached onto it. We can eject out anything we don't want that gets collected up by the drills. Then moving towards the front there, there's our other connector with the hinge attached onto it, and some very battered blocks, which is, well, it died, needs some repair work, so it doesn't look as beaten up. And so there we go. That's a brief look around the outside of the Stone Crusher Rusty, and for what it is and what's going on with it, it looks bloody fantastic. If you want a beaten down, rusted looking ship, that would be perfect for a per-time starting ship. Have it spawned in your world, and your goal is to repair it all up, get it functional, and get it off-world. But now what I'm going to do is just grab hold of my character, and I'm just going to drop down onto the floor. Here we go. So there is no way to actually get up onto this, so if we wanted to, we would have to lower down these pistons first of all, so our magnetic plates would clamp onto the ground. Then we'll have to use our jetpack to come up onto one of these steps on the side. So we're going to start off on this section. We're just going to slowly walk around it, because there is quite a lot going on with here, but a lot of it is redundant in the form of dead ends, such as these doorways in the floor. If we was to open up this one, you got, well, nothing going on with it, but if you were to crouch and close it up, I guess it could be a little hidey hole. Say there's like an enemy boarding your ship, you can just say hide down here, pull out your gun, and we'll wait for them to open up and try and shoot them as they come through. That's entirely up to you with what you want to do with these. Anyway, come out there and closing it up. There we go, landing myself back down. Here's one of the very odd ramps to take us further up to the top section of the ship. So as you can see there is a ladder to get up onto some more platforms that are very rickety, with lots of gaps missing. But where we are right now is our proper area to get around to the cockpit and to the back of the ship. But looking into this area, I absolutely love this part of this ship. It's simply a fan atmospheric thruster with some rounded unfinished armoured panels, which makes such a lovely cage-like design all the way around it. But I haven't really seen this done before on another ship. It does work very well with just some standard decoration, even if you did want to use the rusted skin. Anyway, turn around into this section, there is your large jump drive, so it is jump capable. Then round into here, here's your hydrogen engine, there is a cargo access, and there's your survival kit and a shelf on the end. This button panel right here is going to be all about turning these on. So if we were to come into this, here we go, we then got a gravity generator, there's our hydrogen engine, there's our solar hinges, and there's our survival kit. The solar hinges are simply just to press that, now the hinges will fold all the way up. So if you were to say docking in a very tight area, you can now move these all the way up and have them neatly tucked away to make sure they don't, say, rub against the wall that you're trying to cram the ship into to minimize any kind of damage dealt. Just going to put them back to how they were. There we go. And in the floor, there's your O2HG generator. As for the rest of this room, a lovely neon tube going all the way along the top in the green colouring. We've got a few more ways to go. So this is the opposite side, but once again, we do have a doors in the floor that lead nowhere. But this one is partially open with an exhaust block right behind that. Can't actually interact with it because it is turned off for decoration purposes. Guess that's just spewing out a bunch of smoke. As for the rest of this part, there's our solar panels. In here is a small little shelter so you can cower from some asteroids or drones currently hovering nearby. Walking past this, around to here, here's a door to go inside, which we're going to head first of all. So opening this up, closing it right behind me, here's our oddly clean interior. In fact, it's exceptionally clean compared to the rest of the ship, but it features crypods, toilet, shower, and a little seating area, and some lockers around the room. So walking all the way down, turning around, that button panel is going to control our pressurization and depressurization of this area. We see a locker right in the middle with two armory lockers on each side. Looking around to there, there's your corner sofa. Onto this side, there's your kitchen block. And there's some steps that lead up to the opposite side of the ship, which is where we'll head in just a moment. Towards the back of the ship, there's a sand block in the floor, two crypods on the side for a quick little recharge. There's another locker with a shower and toilet. And looking all the way up, we have a very odd thing, which is a rotor with a small block attached onto it, a small block antenna, but then an AI defensive block attached onto the side. Now, I didn't think this would actually work like that. I thought there'd be some kind of blocking of using the small blocks on a large block grid, but apparently this works. So there it is, if you want to use it. Anyway, looking up to there, we can see an oxygen tank with an LCD screen telling us the weather, and of course that'll be our meters per second. That's currently being blocked up by a deformed steel block. There's our lovely time block. On the opposite side, a programmable block, nothing going on with it. So if you want to, you could add on the auto door and L script. You want to have all the doors close up automatically. For the rest of the room, on the opposite side, we've already talked about this. I suppose we're just going to head up through this doorway, and now on the opposite side. Hopefully we are on the opposite side. Very easy to get turned around on this ship. But yes, looking down, there's another doorway that will lead absolutely nowhere. I've got a few more ways to walk around. So through here, here's our lovely rusted small atmospheric thrusters. They're all bunched together, or like I said earlier, duct taped together to make sure this thing can fly, and a bunch of rusted catwalks to lead all the way around it. There we go. We can pass this part, past this one, past this shelf, around into this part. They've got a way that goes down, but we're not going to head down there first of all because that's simply a dead end. We're going to jetpack across. This is going to be one of our ways to get up to the next section of this ship. Past here, up this ramp, we're now on another set of catwalks with some very dodgy looking pathways to walk around. So over here, and on this part, we're onto some more armoured panels, walking towards the back of the ship, then come around into a lovely, very oddly clean seat to have a little sit on. We can walk around towards the back of the ship, here we go, so that we can see clearly what's going on with the drill, and well, whether they're missing the target or not. Turning around, past this part, past more armoured panels, moving all the way up to here, now on an even more dangerous section. We can go towards the back of the ship once again to access that interior turret, load out of ammunition if we needed to, and of course do some repair work on those pistons if they ever took damage for whatever reason. And of course, walking around, coming up this, and now we can access that connector on top. So coming back down, walking past this section, and into here, past this, past over this part, there's our ladder that we saw at the very start, so there's the steps that we came up at the very start, past the hydrogen thruster, which you will have to be very careful it is turned on, otherwise you're going to get very toasty as you walk past this section. But now we come across to where I was standing at the very start of the video, as we went around the outside. And this is a very clean section, so you could land down a small ship onto here if you wanted to, and just carry it around with you on your adventure. And after that, that's pretty much it for the outside. So one final place to go will be the proper interior. Then you come past this, dropping down to here, into this section, past these lovely walkways. Let's take us around this doorway right here. So here's the back of our jump drive, once again our green neon tubes, opening up this, and here we are. On the left hand side we then got a shower and toilet, on the right hand side we then got a lovely bed, an armory locker, so the captain's going to be in quite luxurious accommodation compared to the rest of the ship. Walking down here, an interior turret to make sure you're not mispaving. And down, there's our two control seats to fly this thing around, with a bump panel in the middle to control your air vents, your hinge, your connector, and gravity. Coming to the right hand seat, this is going to control your pistons, your gyroscopes, and interior turrets around the ship. The piston's going to be one that we're currently landed on, so if we press that, we're now going to move all the way down to the ground, then connect up with our landing legs once we actually touch the surface. So then I go all the way through, there we go, and now we're firmly on the ground. Coming out of this, moving over to the next seat, this is our primary seat to control this thing, and we'll do fly it around. So in first person view we see, well, we can't really see too much going on below the ship, so it would be handy to have a camera here and there if you wanted to. So coming back in the third person view, zooming away there, and then pressing number 1, pressing number 3, this is going to turn on all of our thrusters around the ship. So undo the magnet plates, we now lift this thing off and fly it around. So pressing number 1 is going to turn off all of our atmospheric thrusters around the ship, with number 2 being for the ones at the front, so we go into a cruise and not slow down. Going to be the same controls with number 3, we turn them all off, and then turn them all on. Pressing number 4 and number 5, that's for your thrust overrides for the hydrogen thrusters. Number 6 is then for your landing legs. Number 7 for your gyroscopes. Number 8 for your interior turrets. Then number 9 for your manual control for your parachutes, to turn them on and off. Then coming over to tab number 2, these can be similar controls to the seat sitting right next to it. But number 1 is going to be for your landing legs, which are attached onto pistons. Then number 2, number 3 is for your connector at the front to angle it and to lock and unlock it. Then finally number 4 is for your reactors, to turn them on and off, depending on what you need. And as for that, that's that for the controls. So it's time to fly this thing around, and oh boy does this not handle very well. So moving forwards, here we go. This thing is fairly slow, and just look at all the smoke coming off the back of this thing. It's an absolute monstrosity to fly around. First person view, you can't really see too much going on with it, until you have to stop and start to reverse. So this is its stopping speed, where as you can see we want to make sure we are very careful when approaching your base or another station to make sure you don't slam into it and blow everything up. But it's not as bad as some ships I've showcased on this channel, but still you want to be pretty careful with this size of ship. Anyway, moving backwards, there we go, then that comes to a stop, moving left, and moving right. Surprising amount of speed with that. Then moving up, one hell of a lot of speed, the fastest thing out of everything, that's to be expected from a ship that can go on a planet. The moving down is going to be helped by gravity, and because we are on the alien planet, it's going to be slightly higher gravity than normal, so hopefully moving down, and there we go, that'll be the second fastest thing on this ship. Letting that come to a stop, which will be exceptionally quickly. First person view once again, moving the mouse around. This thing is incredibly heavy. As I'm moving with the mouse around, this thing is dragging quite a lot, and does have a small tendency to tip over, and it does not have the thruster capability to keep it in the air as it's tipping. So as you can see here, we are slowly coming down to the ground at this slight angle. So you want to be exceptionally careful moving this thing around, making sure you're adjusting it, just in case you are flying this on a planet with much higher gravity. As for that, that's pretty much it for the ship and what it can do. So what I'm going to do now is come down to the ground, show you how the drills work, I suppose we'll just slam it into the mountainside, just sitting in the distance. So coming all the way down like so. We're not going to go for any kind of resources, just going to start drilling up the stone. Don't really have to worry about going too fast moving down due to our ship moving up speed. But that should do quite nicely. Move the camera all the way down. In fact, I can go a bit more towards the ground. There we go. I suppose what I'll do for good measure is now extend out these pistons. We'll drop down onto them by turning off the thrusters. And then we'll go and activate the drills and see what we can do. Just making it come all the way down like so. That should have to do. Now turning off the thrusters. We're now down onto the ground. Going to slide around a little bit. I don't think I can turn this into a station. No, I cannot. So we're going to hop out of the seat, move towards the back of the ship, get into that cockpit. So around to here. Past all this lovely smoke, jetpacking rounds. Now we've got to come down and into that seat. Here we go. So these are the controls we get where we don't really need to worry about most of these. We just want to press number 1 to turn on the drills, and then press number 5 to move it all the way down. It will bring the camera over. In fact, I've got to put my signal so I can actually find where the ship has gone. There it is. All the way across. There we go. That's simply what it looks like. In fact, that was silver really close to me. In fact, it's right down there. But yes, that's simply what it looks like, with number 1 being to move it all the way down, which is going to be the primary piston lifting up on the ship. Once that's all done, we can press number 6, 7, and 8, which will be to extend it all the way out, which is probably going to break it now because I'm activating them all at the same time. But as you can see, we do have number 9 to turn on our repair tools, so if you were going too quickly like I am right now, you will just repair up any kind of damage using the resources from inside the ship. So here we go, moving down, getting ready to turn off one of the pistons just in case it does take damage. But it seems to be doing a bang-up job at collecting up all of that stone. And as you can see in the distance there, we are now ejecting out all the stone we're collecting from that one sorter underneath the ship. If you want to, you can turn that off if you are in dire need of resources. Yes, that is that for the drill on the back, turning that off and retracting everything back. There we go. Now it's time for me to grab hold of my character once again, come back around towards the front of the ship and crash this thing. So I predict this is going to be a rather big crash due to the way it's all been set up and due to the sheer weight behind it. It's just, well, just crumple to little pieces. So down to here, lifting this up. In fact, I've got to turn off the thrusters first of all. There we go. Now it's time to turn off all the signals. Charge along towards this mountainside any distance. So here we go, moving along at maximum speed any second now, slamming into it. And there we go, that's what I was expecting. One hell of a lot of destruction and barely anything remaining. It looks like from the back of the ship, we did do a slight turn and actually blow up the drilling arm. There's a bunch of our small thrusters. We can see some interior turrets have survived. There's a reactor which has, well, sort of survived its damage, but we can still repair that up and use it. Our batteries are in one piece. And towards the back of the ship, there's a smaller walkway. Oh, there's a drilling arm that did somehow survive. Although not the actual drilling arm that's down there. We've got a welding arm now. So there we are with that. And it seems to be moving by itself. It's come alive and it's probably going to try and get revenge on me for slamming it in such a way. But anyway, it's a lovely ship to use in the world. You do want to have something that's very rusted to beat it down with its overall design. Like I said, it's very good for using on planet Pertam because it does suit the entire atmosphere and, well, theme of that planet. So I'll be linked to its description below to check it out and play around with yourself. I recommend you do. I'll be back with another video some point soon. Bye bye.